Hey, everybody, welcome to a special edition episode of the podcast. I'm sorry I missed the last couple of weeks, but things have been so busy and I've been finishing deadlines and just couldn't pull it together in time. But I thought I'd make up for it with this kind of special episode for Easter Sunday. Now, I was kind of hesitant to do this because I don't want to come across like preaching Christianity or even as a Christian, because I don't consider myself a Christian. I don't consider myself really any religion. I'm not religious. If you listen to the podcast, you know I'm into all kinds of weird stuff. Esotericism and mysticism and magic and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, I am interested in all the different spiritual traditions. So I'm interested in that stuff. But, you know, I'm not religious. And so I just wanted to tell the story because it was probably the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me, the most unexplainable thing that ever happened to me. And it's touched upon in my documentary, Chet, I Like to Paint Monsters. That's on Tubi. You can check it out. It's for free on Tubi right now. But I thought I'd go into a little bit more detail. My brother mentions it in the documentary, and he kind of gets the story a little bit wrong, or at least part of it a little bit wrong. So I thought I'd just kind of like tell the whole story. So this happened, I think it was probably 1980. So I think I was 12 or 13 years old. And again, not raised religious. I always joke that the extent of my religious training was the movie Jesus Christ Superstar, which was like a big popular movie with my family. So, you know, to me, Jesus was like this cool hippie guy. and, you know, the golden rule is pretty much what I try and live by. And so there was not, we were not a religious family. My mom was into all kinds of, I don't know, you could call them occult practices, I suppose. I think she probably would have called them more new age type stuff. But you know, yeah, I've talked a lot about it. We had ghosts in the house, all kinds of crazy stuff happened. But this one was something that happened to me that was kind of, I think, the craziest thing. So anyway, I was about 13 years old. I think it was about 1980. I had this dream. It was the night before Easter. And again, Easter was celebrated in my house in a very secular way with eggs and, you know, finding Easter eggs, dyeing Easter eggs, all that stuff. Not in a religious way at all. We didn't go to church. None of that. So it adds to the weirdness because we were not religious. We were not a religious family. So I had this dream the night before Easter that I was kind of in the desert, and I was in this long line. I was standing in a long line, and at the end of the line was kind of a platform with a little silver crucifix that was like, I don't know, 2 or 3 feet tall, real thin, chrome crucifix. And I was standing in this line, and all of my family was standing around me going like, you got to get saved. You got to go get crucified and get saved. Like everyone, and the deal was everybody in the line would go get crucified with these little tiny, like carpentry nails, like picture hanging nails. And the deal was you'd go up there and you put your hands like this because the crucifix was small. You know, put them up behind your head and you'd get nailed up to this little cross. And then you would be, if you stayed up there for 10 minutes, and then you would get saved. So, and I didn't want to do it. And everyone in my family was going, you got to do it. You got to do it. And they're kind of like ushering me along. And I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And I finally got up there and had my turn, put my hands up, and I got these little nails nailed into my hand. And after like 5 minutes, it hurt in the dream. And after about 5 minutes, one of them I like pulled out because it hurt too much. And then I left my other one up thinking, well, maybe it'll work if I leave my one hand up for 10 minutes, which is pretty funny. And so I did the whole 5 minutes into it, pulled my hand out. And then for the other 5 minutes, I left my other hand with nail through up on the crucifix. And then that was it. So that was the dream. So the next day, Easter Sunday, I was going to go, like a friend of mine who was a couple years older had a truck that was not a 4-wheel drive truck, but we were going to go 4-wheeling at this park and it was raining, and for some reason we were going to go. That's how religious we were. I was going to go 4-wheeling with my friends in a truck. And so I was taking a shower, and I remember the dream. I was like, wow, that was a weird dream. And I just instinctively looked down at my hands, and there were 2 marks on my palms. And it's almost like I expected to see them. And I was like, whoa, that's weird. And they looked like they were slightly off center to this side. If you're watching on YouTube, they were kind of like over here somewhere, not right in the middle like you'd think, kind of off to the side, both of them. And they looked like, I don't know if you can see, I got shot with a BB gun when I was a little kid. Can't really see it. See that size of that? They were about that size, little circles. And they were kind of red, but they weren't sore. They weren't blisters. They weren't something you could have gotten by rubbing your hands all night. They were like discs, like calloused, slightly off pink, calloused discs on my palms. Tiny, like a BB sized. And they were hard, like calluses. And I was like, just kind of tripping out. And then the same hand, the other weird part, the same hand that I had pulled out in the dream was lighter. And then the other one was more pronounced. The one I left in for the full 10 minutes to get saved. So I was just like, whoa. And I went and told my mom, and my mom was all into this stuff. She was into paranormal stuff, and she was that's probably where I got it from, because she was really into ghosts and just cool stuff like that. And so she got her camera, their old 35 millimeter. She was like an amateur photographer. So she got her 35 millimeter camera, and I do have a picture of it, but it's out of focus, of course, because that's what happens when you have some weird supernatural experience. The camera's out of focus, or the camera doesn't work. Anyway, it's a picture of my hand. My pants behind my hand, like I'm holding it down by my waist, are in focus, but my hand's out of focus. You see like a little pink circle in the spot. I don't know where. I have the picture somewhere. I don't know where it is right now. I mean, I'd have to search through photos. If I ever find it, I will absolutely post it on social media, but it's not proof at all in any way, because it's too blurry to really make out. But so anyway, I thought of every way that I could have possibly done that. Was I rubbing my finger and it did something? But they weren't, like I said, they weren't blisters. They weren't sore. They didn't feel like anything. It was just like these hard little, I don't know, like hockey puck shaped, slightly raised, kind of flat on the top. These marks. And so I went 4-wheeling with my friends with a 2-wheel drive truck in the rain. We got stuck in the mud, and I remember waiting. This is before cell phones, and we got stuck in the mud. My friend had to walk to a payphone, call it our other friend to pull us out. And I remember sitting and just kind of looking at them being, in the rain. I think I was sitting under the tailgate for some reason. It was down, and we were I don't know what, I was sitting outside, and I was looking at my hands all day, and it tripped me out. And then the other weird part of the story is that was on Easter Sunday. By the next day, they were 100% gone. There was no trace of them. You would never have known there was any mark at all. Like, I mean, totally gone. And that's the part of the story my brother got wrong. He said it was there for a couple days. It's like, nope, it was there on Easter. It was all day, and they were 100% gone on Monday. So I don't know what it meant. I still don't know what it meant. It felt, obviously felt like a significant thing, but it was the weirdest the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me, because there was like a physical result of this dream that manifested physically somehow. I don't know. I don't, I've never really, I've talked about it in the podcast here and there a little bit, but I don't know. I'd be curious to see what people think it meant. The thing is, it's like, I know people, I'm sure there are people that hear this won't believe me, or there's probably people that are like religious people that'll think it's some sign from God or whatever. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it is. I'm really saying I have no idea what it was, but I know that it happened for sure. I experienced it. I don't really care if people believe me or not. I don't give a shit. But it's like, it's for those people with, that with an open mind, I guess, that are curious about stuff like this. It's for these people that I'm sharing the story, because, it's a lot of people think that if science can't prove it, it's not real, and stuff like that doesn't happen. But it happened to me. And there are a lot of things that science can't prove that happen to a lot of people. I guess that's it. I've had a lot of weird things happen to me, a lot of impossible synchronicities. I've recently had one that was witnessed by someone else and experienced with someone else, which was cool. But, I probably should write all this stuff down and maybe do little mini episodes with them, because they're crazy. They're really impossible things that have happened to me over my life. Anyway, that's the Easter story I thought I would share with you on Easter, and take it for what it's worth. I just wanted to share that story because I thought it was interesting, and it's Easter, so here you go. Well, I hope you enjoyed that story, and I'll be back next week with another artist interview. And thanks for checking it out. All right. Happy Easter, or whatever you celebrate. Have a good day today. Bye.